Welcome to the China Influencer Marketing Podcast. Each week, we speak with top influencers, marketers, and brands who share their experiences, strategies, and tactics for influencer marketing in China. Here's your host, Lauren Hallinan.
Hi, everyone. In this episode of the China Influencer Marketing Podcast, we chat with Ariel Chen, a Chinese travel influencer. If you've been following Chinese consumer trends, you know that the Chinese outbound travel market has exploded over the past few years, and more than 135 million Chinese are projected to travel abroad this year, making China the world's largest outbound travel market. While in the past, the majority of outbound Chinese travelers traveled abroad with tour groups, recently there has been a big shift in the market towards independent travel. This shift has left many destinations wondering, who are these independent Chinese travelers and how do we reach them? Well, surprise, surprise, one of the best ways to reach Chinese travelers and inspire them to visit your destination is by working with Chinese travel influencers. In this episode, Ariel and I discuss the characteristics of young independent Chinese travelers, the Chinese traveler's customer journey, why brands should pay travel influencers, what is the most common travel question her audience asks her, why companies shouldn't completely rely on their marketing agencies to help them choose travel influencers, and much, much more. Before we start, I just want to take a quick moment to thank our sponsor, Parklu. Parklu is China's premier influencer marketing platform. Learn more at parklu.com. And now onto our interview with travel influencer Ariel Chen. Ariel, welcome to the China Influencer Marketing Podcast. I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad that you found me on Weibo, and I'm happy to have this discussion with you.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I've talked to several influencers already, but I haven't interviewed anyone who's in the travel industry. And I think that's an especially hot industry right now, with so many Chinese people starting to travel abroad, maybe for the first time or the second time. And I know that there's a lot of destinations and companies that are really interested in reaching that market. And I think that there's probably a lot that they can learn from talking to you.
Sure. I'm learning as well, but I agree with you. It's a really hot industry, and it's all over internet. It's all over China. And as you can see, Chinese people start traveling a lot. They have a lot disposable income. Like they want to start traveling, and I can see the shift from buying consumer goods or luxury goods to services experience. So it's changing their behavior, their spending behavior, and we're benefiting in the travel industry.
Awesome. Well, I want to get more to some of those trends in a bit, but it would be great if you could first give us a brief introduction and tell us, how did you become a travel influencer? How did this happen?
So last year, me and my husband, we both quit our job. So we live in Canada, but I was born and raised in China. I moved here 5 years ago to Canada, and we settled here. We worked, and then in the end, so okay, let's travel before having kids. Let's go somewhere. So we quit our job, start traveling for a whole year, and during our travel, we started making videos, and it got really popular in the middle of our trip. So in the beginning, we didn't know how to make videos, but after 6 months, and our first video released. And it got popular on social media. So it was totally a luck or I wasn't expecting anything. And people start contacting me in the platforms. So I become a influencer just by luck. And I like it. I'm still doing it. Now I finished my 1 year sabbatical. I started doing this full time since 2 months.
Okay. So what do you think it was about that, those videos, those initial videos that people really liked? Like what do you think it was that made them get so much attention?
I think it's because traveling overseas or traveling internationally is not as common as in the States or in Canada, and people are interested. They want to see what's out there, and also they see how I travel. They say, okay, she can do it, I'll do it in the future. So I guess they want to live the way that I live. I assume they want to have the same experience, and they say, oh, it's so exciting. Or a Chinese girl, I'm still on Chinese passport, and it's quite difficult for us to travel back in days. Now it's getting easier and easier. So my travel experience, I guess, kind of opened a door for them. So I can do that just like her. I think maybe that's why it's getting popular, or my video got popular back then.
What kind of places in that period of time that you guys were traveling? What kind of places were you visiting?
Oh, we went a lot of places. So for the entire year, we've been to like 55 countries, but don't be surprised or like scared. We were on a big route. We wanted to travel around the world, so we have been through many countries, but we probably visit like 20 countries, like in Middle East, in Eastern Europe and South America. So like pretty exotic for Chinese people. Not a common. We've been Asia during the trip, but not a lot. Or like Southeast Asia, I think it's really popular, or it's really common for Chinese people to go through Southeast Asia. So we also spent like 2 months there, but I wasn't focusing on that area because I've been there before. So the places that we spent the most time is probably Africa, Middle East, and South America.
Oh, okay. So they were probably, maybe interested them because they hadn't seen as many videos of those places. It's not like Paris or London or like you said, Thailand. It's you guys were going to some more like offbeat places that they might not have seen videos before.
Yeah, exactly. But don't like. I wouldn't say that the places that you just mentioned, like Paris or Thailand, is not popular. It's also very popular, and also, like, I've been to those places and people like it. They ask questions about it, but just for looking at video, I think there's more exotic experience for them. But I'm sure Paris or Europe are one of the hottest destination right now.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe more accessible to people who are just starting to travel. Maybe people who are more experienced or have a better grasp of English could go to some of these other places.
Yeah.
What kind of questions, like you mentioned, your audience asks you a lot of questions. What kind of things do they tend to ask you? Like what information are they looking for?
The question they ask the most is it's really interesting. They ask if it's safe to go there. Not just like I have videos about Germany, so Germany is safe, and Europe used to be one of the safest place, but nowadays there's a lot of not that good news about those destinations. So they always ask, is it safe to go there? Or even in the States, and recently, unfortunately, you have some bad news about shooting and stuff. And so people are worried when they're traveling. So I was surprised why they always ask me if it's safe. So also Middle East, like Israel, Egypt, even the States. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay, so they ask about safety. Is there anything else that they often ask about?
I think like they were curious about budgeting and like places to go or language skills, but the question I see the most is really safety.
Okay, got it. Your followers and your fans, who are they? Because you mentioned like budgeting and things like that. Are they like younger? Do they want like what kind of travel are they interested in? Like, could you describe your fans a little bit?
They are younger, more, I'll say like 60% female and maybe 65, and younger crowd from 20 to 35 around. Like it's younger crowd. Younger crowd. Yeah.
Okay, and what kind of like are they? Traveling on their own or in groups? Like, are they looking for more like budget travel, or are they, luxury? Like, what do you think is common for them?
I don't think they're looking into budgeting, like budget travel or backpacking. They are more going not group because they try to get rid of the tour groups that like the older generation tend to go with. So they want to be independent. That's why they ask about language skills and budgeting, because you just have no idea how much you will spend. Yeah, I think a more independent travel, casual, not necessarily luxurious kind of experience, but definitely not budget. So in the middle, like comfortable, casual vacation kind.
Okay. And I'm just asking all these questions because I speak to a lot of tourism boards and other travel organizations here in the U.S. And, they're just really curious. They read a lot of reports about, Chinese travelers and trends. And so I'm just trying to get your take on everything. You said just then that, the younger generation wants to travel more independently. And, maybe the older generation was more into group travel. And I was wondering if you could speak a little bit more about that, because I think that we've been hearing a lot of news that is saying that, but there's still a lot of tourism boards, a lot of people that still haven't wrapped around or their head around that. They're like, oh, we just need to talk to the travel agencies and they'll send us a big bus of Chinese tourists. And I'm like, I don't think Chinese tourists aren't traveling that way anymore. A lot of them are becoming more independent. So would you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you because traveling groups, yes, maybe I'll say 3 to 5 years ago, you would see a lot of like a bit older, like 40, 50-year-old going in big buses to go to Europe, let's say in Paris, to buy stuff, to buy bags and stuff. So it wasn't like that since, 2, 3 years. I see more and more younger generation, including all my friends. They're traveling on their own. Even my parents, they speak no English at all. They went to Vancouver on their own. And all my previous, like my older coworkers in China, if they have a lot of money and they don't want to worry too much, they don't want to go with a tour group. They will have that design tour, a private tour designed for them, just for the small, like 2 or 4 people. Or if they're more independent, have more time, then they will go on their own, and they don't want to go we call that like you go in a bus and you sleep and you get off bus and you take a picture and then you leave, and they don't want to do that anymore. And also it's very trendy to go somewhere new and to go to some restaurants, let's say, or to a spot that nobody knows and post on social media. And I think it's all this social media thing. Let's say a month ago, it was our National Day, so it was Golden Week. It's a travel week in China. You see all my friends posting pictures online. None of them are going. They were going with the tour groups. They're all going on their own and try to compete who has better pictures. Who went to the more trendy places, like people kind of they're ashamed of going with tour group because that's a older generation's behavior. They don't want to be that typical, the Chinese traveler anymore in the big group.
Yeah, I agree. And they're all, like you said, they're all sharing their pictures on social media and almost like competing to see who can have the coolest experience.
Exactly.
What you also mentioned at the beginning when we first started talking, you were saying that they're moving less, moving away from shopping and maybe more into experiences. And so what types of experiences is it? Is it food? Is it outdoor activities? Is it like history? Like what kind of experiences do you think that like young Chinese people are interested in?
It depends. I mean, it depends. They like all kind. I'll say depends on what kind of group. So some of they are into extreme sports like bungee jumping. They go hiking. Or some of them they're into luxurious hotels. Because in China they have, let's say, a week or two vacation, and they spend a lot of money in that 1 or 2 weeks, and they book a really nice hotel. They go on the beach and they stay like 5 days in a resort. And some people they like I just said, like going somewhere hiking for, let's say, go to New Zealand hiking for a week. Or some foodies they go to look for good food. But now it's the influencers. It's really up to us. Like if I post some fun experience about my travel, they will go there because they don't really know, and depends where the market trends going, where the influencers are doing. It's crazy. Like they used to be photos and tips online, like forums online. And we had a joke that everybody go to the same place, they take same kind of picture because they all follow 1 or 2 influencers. And now it's more about videos and short videos on Weibo or on Meipai, this kind of platform. So you see, if you go and a few months later, you see your fans are posting similar experience. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that must be crazy because you're really seeing the impact that your content had on them. So do you think for a lot of Chinese people when they're planning their trip, just like I'm just thinking about like the customer journey, do you think that a lot of them are initially kind of getting inspiration and deciding where to go based on things that they see from influencers, or where do you think, or is it from like C-Trip and these other online travel sites, or where do you think they're getting like the ideas and the inspiration for their trip?
I'll say, for example, I want to like Canada Tourism Board. They're doing a great job in China. Canada is up if it's no. Like I live here, okay, and I travel a lot. And I used to, before I moved here, I travel a lot. And Canada is actually not the most interesting destination for Chinese people, but the marketing job they did, it's fantastic in China. So they work with influencers, they work with a PR agency, and they present a beautiful Canada to Chinese people, and they give long-term visa, like 10 years. So Canada is really hot, but Canada is expensive. And compared to some other countries, let's say like the country that's even more close to China in geographically, they don't even attract as many tourists as Canada. So I think first they see they follow some influencers or some interesting tourism bureaus online, and they see some interesting interesting destinations. They have this idea. And then let's say I saw some video about Morocco, about Thailand, about some little island in Indian Ocean. And then I'll go to the platforms like you said, Ctrip or Feiju, Fliggy, the Alibaba travel. They shop for maybe a package or a deal. I don't think they go to the platform to shop just for a better deal first. I really think they get an idea from social media and then they go shopping. Maybe I have 5 destinations on my mind, and then I go there to see, oh, maybe this one have better deal, have a better tickets, or it's more interesting over there on those sales platforms. Then they will go. So it's not like me, I'm telling them they're going to go directly where I tell them to go. No, it's a combination of the two. But the initial ideas, I'm sure it's from more social media marketing.
Okay. And what do you think are the most popular social media platforms for travel influencers? Do you think it's Weibo, WeChat? Is it like, I know that, Ma Fengwo and some of these travel sites have their own influencers. Which platforms do you think are best for travel influencers?
It depends what kind of crowd you're trying to target. For mainstream crowd, I think Weibo is the best because it's an open one and because everybody can comment on it and easy to repost. It's like Instagram, but it's broader than Instagram here in the States. And then maybe WeChat, but WeChat is a closed social media platform, so it's maybe for more luxurious, like prestige travel, it's better over there because the crowd is older on the WeChat. And for Ma Fengwo or Qiong, another one, they are targeting really like travelers, not mainstream people. For people like my friends or my parents, like normal Chinese travelers, they don't go on Ma Fengwo. It's too complicated for them to look at the forums. But instead, Weibo, I think it's easier because I'm reading news anyways. I might as well follow some interesting travel influencers. It depends what kind of crowd you're talking about, and different people are on different platforms.
Okay, gotcha. Are you still doing mainly like video content or like photos, live streaming? Which type of content do you think is best for your like audience and your topics?
I do all 3 of them. I do video and live streaming. Like I do the most, or it's my I specialized in videos and streaming because I like it more because it's more visual and it's easier to communicate. But also I post pictures and like little tips and stuff, and those are easy for people to like, let's say they're on the bus, they can't really like watch a video or something, they will read. So I would do all 3 types, but I do more on video and live streaming.
Okay, got it. So I want to know, have you, like you mentioned Canada Tourism Board, have you done any work with like tourism boards or any, hotels like or travel companies? Have you worked with brands at all? I know you're okay, because I wasn't sure, because I know that you just started doing all this like so recently.
I was lucky. Yeah, I was really, really lucky, and I was really lucky because, and also I see tourism boards and all these PR companies. They see there are so many influencers out there, and they identify who they want to work with. So I was lucky. I worked with a few of them, actually. I worked with the Canada one. I worked with Dubai. I work with a lot with Alibaba Travel, like many of them, actually, even though I'm still new.
So did these companies like reach out to you, and then what kind of projects did you work on with them?
I work with like promotional videos that I was a guest host for Canadian, actually the Montreal promotional videos for the next year is the Canada China travel year, I think it's called. So I work with one of the celebrities they hired to host a show in Canada. One of them is in Montreal, so I was a guest host there. And also I will fly in to a destination. I do live streaming. I make videos. So all kinds of work. Yeah.
Okay. And like, do you mind me asking just, do you typically get paid to do this, or is it like the flight and the trip is all free and it's more like a free trip? And I'm just asking this because I find that a common problem especially in the travel industry is that a lot of hotels and destinations think, well, I'm giving you a free stay, so why do I need to pay you on top of that? And so I was just wondering what the situation that you've experienced, and if you've had that problem, or if hasn't really presented itself to you.
Yeah, you're right. There's I think this concept is still new. Why do I hire you? And I gave you this free stay and it's already nice. Everybody wants it. Why do I need to pay you? I work with some of them were paid, some of them not. Depends on, let's say if it's my first job. I don't have my previous job to present it to them. Of course, I can't really ask for much. However, now I will not do free trips anymore because this is my profession. I need to... I need to feed myself. I need to make money. I need to sustain. I can't just go have fun and not provide to my family. I don't think that's fair. It's a job. And if tourism board or PR company or marketing company, they can hire a celebrity to do this kind of promotional job, they should hire influencers and pay the fair amount of money as well. Because I think now even people trust more in influencers than celebrities, because we're people, we are down to earth, we're friends around them. It's easier to do the things we do than doing something that's celebrities so far from our real life. So I don't think people or influencers should take free jobs. And of course, there's always somebody take free trips, and then it's up to the tourism board to identify if those people are really qualified or they're just somebody new. And then in the end, all this tourism boards or marketing company, they spent some budget money or whatever resources. They probably hired somebody is not really qualified, or somebody just have social media account, is new. Okay, the person went for free, but in the end there's no result on the job. Then it's the worst kind of case for them, I think.
Yeah, sometimes free isn't better, right? I mean, if you pay someone, then they're also going to give you better results because they feel obligated. Like, you paid them, it's their job to give you good results, and so yeah. I think a lot of companies still have, like you said, they're still learning that.
Yeah, it's not just like you pay me, I'll do a better job. It's also because there's really, really a lot of influences there. Somebody will probably do the job for free, but then they are new to the industry. They don't really know what the audience want, or their impact is really minimal. That's why they charge for nothing. If they have big impact, they have so many offers to choose from. Why did they choose a free job? I wouldn't.
Right. They understand their value and they're not willing to settle for less. Yeah. I'm curious, when speaking about impact and result, what usually when these companies are working with you, what kind of goals or KPIs, are they hoping for? Do they tell you specific, like we hope we'll get this many likes or this many reposts, or what kind of results are they usually looking for?
I don't think they ask for a specific number on likes or repost or comments. I think they qualify the influencers beforehand on those criterias. In the end, they will ask you, let's say I'll do like 2 live streams, like in 2 different spots, or I need a video afterwards, I need like pictures afterwards, and I want to use all this stuff that just mentioned. So I don't really think there is a number for likes that's on a contract. I've never seen that, but for sure when they choose all these influencers, they will see the previous job that they did and what kind of portfolio they have or what kind of result they have. Yeah.
Okay, so they've just pretty much expect that you're going to be able to deliver the same results that you might have done on a previous project.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I was just wondering, do you have any advice for whether it's a travel brand or a destination? Do you have any advice for them as far as how to attract Chinese travelers or how to work with Chinese influencers? Just any, from your experience, like any advice that you could give them?
I think they should be definitely open-minded. And also be active on social media. I don't think they should, let's say, oh, I have this much money and I'll give it to a marketing group and let's do this and depend everything on that one company. I don't think that's good. I think if you're really interested in Chinese market, you should definitely be on the social media platforms and follow the people, the influencers, and to see what's out there and then what's the competition, which destination you're competing with, and also identify a qualified influencers. I think if you hire 3 or 4 qualified ones and the ones have big impact, is better than you have like 20 mediocres. And be involved. This travel, like tourism boards, for example, be really involved. Do not just go through agency. I don't think it's a good idea because the agency maybe deal with many destinations, not just you, and they don't really understand your country as much as you understand your country. So I think they should understand the market more and be open-minded and spend the limited budget on qualified influencers, and do not just offer free trips because you might just get people go travel to the destination and you don't have much impact afterwards.
Okay, yeah, maybe like what you're saying, maybe it would be better for them to have someone in-house that can focus on the China market and not necessarily send it all out to another company, because that might things might get lost in translation. And I've definitely experienced that from my past jobs in PR and marketing companies, that I think, especially with travel, it's one of those things that if you haven't been to that destination, it's really hard to promote it effectively because you just, after you go there, you have such a different perspective on it, and you get excited about it, and you have things that you remember and you want to share with other people, and it's much easier to promote it. And so sometimes when these tourism boards, hire out the work to a Chinese company, but notobody on that team or in that company has ever been to their destination before, how are they supposed to effectively market you?
Exactly. I totally agree with you. I think it's okay to hire a PR company or marketing company, but be involved as well. Like, don't just talk to the influencers or people who you hire through the agency, but talk to them. You can work 3 ways together. Don't need to just go through that one channel. Like you said, you definitely can't rely on 100% on agency because nobody have been to that destination before, probably.
And now it's time for this week's Park Lu Influencer Marketing Insights. How to use live streaming to sell on China e-commerce. While the China e-commerce industry is huge, buying things online is often unreliable due to the prevalence of knockoffs, poor quality items, and fake reviews. Live streaming provides a level of transparency that is not otherwise accessible. One of the great things about using live streaming and an influencer at the same time is you have a double whammy of trust built in. Not only are people looking directly at the product and how to use it, but you have a known KOL who's trusted within that product category. But it's equally important to remember that live streaming should be a show. It's not just about selling. You need to show people how to use the product, what's interesting about it, and take viewers behind the scenes, how it's made and who's making it. Figure out ways of gamifying the event. For more insights on this topic from Park Lu, please visit chinainfluencermarketing.com/Park Lu. And we hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
What are some trends that you see? I mean, you've talked about live streaming. Do you think that that's something that people are going to be continue to use a lot, or are there other trends that are coming? Where do you feel like China's social media industry is headed? Anything new? Anything you want to share?
I think definitely video and live streaming, but I do a lot of overseas live streaming, but sometimes the problem is that the connection is really bad. And I see video have more potential than live streaming, but live streaming definitely one of the good tools because you can really showcase whatever happening on the spot. I think it's necessary, but in the end, what they can take home all the information and stuff, it's in the video. It's more visual and easy to store or to repost. I'm more confident in video than live streaming, but live streaming is very important as well. And the pictures and the tips, like little articles, they're useful, but people are getting less and less patient to read. Pictures, of course, like photography, have an impact. Visual impact, but not as much as the video would do, I think.
Mm-hmm. What kind of do you have you have a WeChat official account, right?
Yeah, WeChat public, yes.
Right. What kind of content do you send out on that one? Is it different than what you send out on Weibo or?
Yeah, it's different because I think Weibo is easier because I can just I think you have a Weibo as well. I followed you, and you can just really do little things, little effort, and post. It's more real-time excitement that you want to share with your fans. And then while WeChat is really the summary of a event. Or I usually just post a video. I made this video, let's take a look. I don't really post little things on my WeChat public accounts. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe Weibo can be a little bit more spontaneous or smaller things, whereas WeChat might be more thought out. Do you ever post like travel guides or is that not something you do?
I do, but that takes a lot of time. I think a lot of people are doing it. I don't think influencers should do everything because there's just too many things. There's a lot of people are making travel guides. They're different. They can't be normal people. Let's say you go there once. I have a really good experience I want to share with people. I can post a long article with 50 pictures and maybe 100 pictures, and that's a lot of work. And I think we can do it, but definitely not main thing that we do, because you are the influencers. I think we're the people who actually present the first impression and make excitement. And then in the end, there's other people or companies, they would do the travel guides and like more detailed stuff. I'll do it, but not often. If I really, really like that destination, I will write a long article about it and tell people where to go. But usually things I really like, I mention in my videos already.
Okay, so your content is more about providing the inspiration, and then if they want to go there, they'll go find the more detailed information somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and I wanted to know, we were kind of talking about not so good influencers, and I was just wondering if you have any like tips or suggestions for these brands, when they're trying to research influencers to work with. Is there anything that they should kind of look out for that might be a warning sign that this is not really the right person to work with, or that they might not be able to provide effective results?
That's what I said. It's okay that you use an agency to find influencers, but when you qualify them, you really need a person that's from your own inside organization, understands the social media concept and the platform and how it works. And I think you should really, let's say I have 10 candidates, I have to choose 5 of them. It doesn't take a lot of time to look at their portfolio, their daily job, what's going on at their Weibo, their WeChat. Don't just look at the numbers, look at the qualities. Seriously, it's really easy to do whatever numbers, but look what their fans are talking about, what kind of crowd they're attracting. Look at the previous comments, repost, but don't just look at, she has like 200 reposts and 500 comments. No, look into the comments and repost. And if you have more time, even looking to their fans and try to click a few of them to see if these fans are really the fans because the fans are the people you're targeting, to see these fans. Are they really the people with purchasing power, and then you want to attract these people? You don't need to look everything, but I'm sure if you spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes to look at one person, so Weibo or WeChat account, you can get an idea if these people are legit or not.
Yeah. So speaking of fans, I wanted to ask you what kind of things do you do to develop a closer relationship with your fans?
I interact with them, and when they ask me questions, I answer their questions, and I talk to them. I have WeChat groups of my fans, like really close fans, and also have I just had I went back to China a month ago. Oh no, last month, not a month ago, like a week ago. Last month, I had a offline activity to interact with them, to see them. Actually, I hosted a event. A lot of people came. Surprisingly, they flew in from a few provinces away, and you know how big China is. And they flew in. They took ferries, and many people, they come from other cities. So that's how you create a really close bond with your fans, because you want to understand them, you want to see them in person, and you want to also understand what kind of things that they like. Yes, you might think tourism boards choose us, but I also choose who I want to work with, right? Because I want to go to the places my fans are interested in, and will be benefiting my fans, not just somebody gave me money and I'll go travel there try to promote things that people don't like.
Okay. I want to know, do you have what are your upcoming trips or any upcoming projects that you're working on? Are you going anywhere?
Not soon, because I have a lot of backlog of videos that I have to finish. And also, when this kind of travels, sometimes it's not planning ahead of time. I find this problem with tourism board or even with some marketing companies, always last minute. I'm saying that I don't know where I'm going. I might leave next week. So it's really short time notice, and maybe within a month. And I think I will work more with Alibaba Travel, Feiju, and I like every month or two they will organize a trip. They work with the influencers they trust. I think I will work with them more. So also I choose my platforms where you want to present yourself the most, and you want to see who are the most influential platforms out there. So the Shuangshi, the 11th of November. So
yeah.
they're also promoting a lot of deals on their website, and also work with them to promote that. So yeah, short notice trips, but I'm sure I'm going somewhere, but I just don't know where, because even with this platform, they tend to send you to somewhere interesting, but don't tell you where to go.
Oh, really? They'll send you on a trip and they don't tell you where you're going?
Yeah, you go for the last month I went to Greece. I had a note. They told me you're going somewhere, but I'm not telling you. Like maybe two days ahead of time, you know where you're going.
What about the visa though?
So they will ask you, do you have like which visa you have on your passport right now? They will ask you first, and then I see you have U.S. one, you have European Union. You have only like Schengen visa, so you can go to many countries, or Japan, all these popular destinations, and they will send you to the ones that you have the visa already.
Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't know. Why do you think they do that? Like, why do they wait until the last minute to tell you?
I think that's their branding. That's what they want. They want to promote the spontaneous travel, just pack your bag and leave. And they want to create a new habit, which is good. I like companies. They're trying to actually shifting the whole market and try to tell people, hey, travel is something you can do just like that, not just, oh, I have a vacation. This is interesting, though. I want to mention, because I have a lot of coworkers in the States or Canada. They plan their trip a year ahead of time.
Wow.
No, it's not. It's not the way in China, because I think here people they know they have annual vacation. You have to plan with your company a few months ahead. Okay, I'm gonna take those days off. I'm going somewhere, and I buy my tickets ahead of time. No, it's not in China. I think they're trying to promote, hey, let's go travel. Even I have only a short weekend, I can have this deal, the tickets. I want to go there for a weekend. So I like it. It's interesting. Like it's exciting going somewhere new. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I mean, I can see that where a lot of Chinese, because the Chinese holidays, like the Golden Week and now Spring Festival and some of the, summer vacation and things. And so people are, like you said, they're taking a long time to plan every detail of their trip. And that actually, like these planned out trips, only a couple times a year is actually like hurting the travel companies, because then they have all these other times of the year where nobody's going anywhere.
Yeah. Sarah, I think they're promoting the shorter trips, but let's say, well, I found this deal. I want to go now. I want to leave only for 3 days, because maybe taking 2 weeks off is more difficult, but taking 3 or 4 days off is not that difficult. So they're trying to work with the market, the crowd, to see something more exciting than planning my trip a year ahead of time.
Right. So then they're trying to create the same experience with the influencers, so that then you guys have a more like genuine reaction, I guess, to the trip.
Exactly.
Okay. So you might be going somewhere, but you're not really sure where that is. Why do you like working with Alibaba? Is there anything about them or about their platform that you really like?
I think they are just like all their other business. They are more agile, and they are open to new ideas. I don't take me wrong. I like Sichuan, I like Ma Fengwo, but they tend to plan. They tend to sell packages, and they tend to promote one destination. But I think if Alibaba, Feiju, they want to go somewhere new, interesting, and different from elsewhere. So they dare to change the market, change the game. So I think that interests me, and I liked working with them, and they're really open-minded with your suggestions and what you want to do, and they also have a lot of resources. It's like, for example, if I go travel, that was beginning of October, so I work with them and Vivo. So it's a mobile phone company in China, so it's a leading brand. Three of us, like three parties, influencers, Feiju and Vivo, we went somewhere together to release a new phone. So when you work with a company like this, you're not just promoting a destination, you add a new element there. So this phone is about travel, it's about taking pictures, and camera works well in the travel concept. So you can work with different people, and it's more interesting than just go somewhere to eat food, to take pictures. Yeah.
So they're Alibaba, because of how huge they are, they're also able to like incorporate other brands and products into the trip. And that's probably also why they're able to work with more influencers and pay and everything, because they're kind of doing these combined trips.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So you said you've been doing this full time for only a couple of months now. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, because I finished my trip the beginning of August.
Okay, that was your year-long trip.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So since September now, like two months and a half.
Okay. Is your husband also an influencer, or is he working somewhere else?
We were doing the same. We're managing the same blog during our trip, where he makes a lot of videos. He's really good at it. But right now, he's back to his normal work, engineer. So I'm the full-time manager on my blog. But of course, he's working with me. So, but I'm the only full-time.
Yeah. So is this for the near future? Is this your plan, just to keep growing your audience and trying do you have any kind of specific goals or anything that you're working towards, or just kind of riding it out and see where it takes you?
I want to I want to finish a lot of my videos, and I want to introduce some destinations with to my audience. And as well, when I work on one country, I want to, like, I will go talk tourism board on my own. I don't just wait for them to talk to me, and I talk to, let's say, tour agencies or whoever is like the holders in that destination. I work with them, so I don't just wait for them to call me to go travel. So I want to guide where my audience and me going. So I don't just the other people tell me, hey, you're going there and help us to promote.
Okay.
So I want to have my own goals. Definitely, the destination I think is interesting to promote.
Okay. Awesome. Well, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
They can send like WeChat messages. I think that's the most common way, because there are a lot of it's like an open platform. If somebody doesn't know me, then they can, like, by the way, my name is Travel Food Flops. You can find me on Weibo.
Right. So, we'll include all of that in the show notes so that they can get in touch with you.
Yeah. So I think that's the good thing about Weibo, because you can send strangers messages. It's easier to, and also you can see their jobs. I think that's the main way that people contact each other. Yeah.
Okay, great. So people can either get in touch with you by your WeChat or your Weibo.
Weibo, yeah.
If they're looking to get into China, they should be able to use both of those platforms. So I agree that those are the best ways for them to get in touch with you. Well, awesome. I think this is going to be really useful for all those travel companies and brands who are looking to understand the China market a bit better. So I really appreciate you taking the time to have this interview with me.
Thank you. I'm glad I have a conversation with you, and I hope my tips or my little insight will help other influencers and help the the tourism boards or our marketing company to find the good candidates.
Hi, everybody. I think Ariel shared some really great insights on the China travel industry. You can find all of her social media handles and contact information, as well as links to some of her recent collaborations in the show description and in the show notes on chinainfluencermarketing.com. Before you go, I want to share a couple of my key takeaways from this episode. The first one is that destinations and attractions need to stop focusing on the past and start preparing for the future. While currently there are still many Chinese people traveling abroad with tour groups, it will not stay that way for long. Like Ariel mentioned, many young Chinese people think it's embarrassing and they're ashamed of getting onto a tour bus and traveling in a group. A recent Focusrite study found that in 2015, about 60% of Chinese outbound travelers were adults aged 18 to 34, and that number has only increased since then. For this age group, social media and influencers are the best way to inspire them to visit your destination. The second point that I want to make is that safety is extremely important for Chinese travelers. Ariel said that was the number one question that people asked her was, is this place safe? So I think that it's something that destinations need to be addressing more in their marketing messages. For example, let Chinese tourists know about your city's low crime rate or about the new lighting system that has been installed to make the park safer to walk in at night, or that your city's been voted number one as the top places for families to live. These things might make Chinese tourists more comfortable to travel independently to your city. And the last point I want to make is that, in general, travel influencers should be paid. Yes, I'm aware that you are giving them a free stay or a complimentary flight, but this is their job and they need to pay their bills. When they get home from the trip, they also need to spend hours and hours editing content and posting it. So are you expecting them to do that for free? If you decide not to pay influencers, then don't have high expectations for the results. I know that there may be some exceptions. For example, I am a traveler influencer and I have done some free work for destinations. But oftentimes, the reason that I'm willing to do this free work is that, number one, I have a smaller audience than Ariel does, so I know that I'm not able to provide nearly as good results as she did. If I had as many followers as her, then I would probably not do free work either. It's also not my main job. It's something that I do on the side. And also, most of the times that I've done free work, it has been because I was already planning on going to that city. And so I was gladly willing to share content, for example, on a hotel, if the hotel was willing to give me a free stay. But it's unlikely that I would have gone to that city to stay at that hotel just for the free stay. So in general, if it is a quality influencer, then I highly recommend that you offer to compensate them for their work. So those are my key takeaways, and I would love to hear what you found most interesting or useful from this conversation with Ariel. You can leave me a comment on chinainfluencermarketing.com or add me on LinkedIn or WeChat and message me there. Also, feel free to send me podcast guest recommendations or suggestions for specific topics or industries you'd like to hear covered. And if you liked this episode and know somebody else who might like it too, don't forget to share it. Thanks, and talk to you next week.